Welcome back, friends. Last guy here. Time for more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where, Naruhodo just died to a doggy, so that's where we're at right now. He died. This is all just the afterlife at this point. Mr. Sato can see ghosts. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Alright, here we go. Oh, Miss Naruhodo, are you alright? You're dead? Miss Sato. Conscious again at last. A blessed relief, my dear fellow. After all, to drop dead after a moderate licking by a small terrier, most unseemly. What is or isn't seemly is irrelevant here, Mr. Sholmes. Whoa! He freaking died. He died over there. I'm so glad there's no lasting damage. How are you feeling? I'm fine, thank you. Did you bring me back here? Huh, what's this on my head? A bandage? Sadly, we had no ice, so that's a compress of sugar water. Sugar water? Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a first aid treatment that my father taught me. I thought you need honey, not sugar. Oh, thank you. So, let us take tea when you're feeling up to it. But of course, no sugar in the patient's cup. Yeah, the bump on my head is throbbing sweetly enough, don't worry. Hee. Whenever you feel ready, then. Just stand in the background. I guess I'm gonna just look at him. Examine him as a clue. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Sholmes. My dear fellow, think nothing of it. I must say I was quite startled when I heard you'd been attacked by a dog. For a moment I feared that infamous murderer of so many had come back from the dead. Oh, right, the Hound of the Baskervilles, that's why. This whole thing is around that hound that they're not willing to talk about. You mean, the professor? Fortunately, I see your prized throat is unscathed. That stiff, turned-up collar of yours obviously afforded some welcome protection. Was I that close to death? All I really remember is the dog licking my face over and over and over again. Well, if you wish to avoid such troubles in the future, a little mustard spread on the cheeks should do the trick. I should think that would balance the sweetness of your bandage rather splendidly. Oh, okay, so he's not on supposed to talk to? But he's right there. What the hell else am I supposed to do here? There's no conversing with her. Do I move? Let's try moving. They did say let's have some tea, so I guess we should go do that. Films is sweet. Is this the correct move? That's the question. Yeah, it is. Okay. 2nd November, Sholmes is sweet.
Herr mit dem Schwarzbiergebot, brodend wie ein Feuerberg, den Schlund es mir verbrannt, ach Hopf.
What?
Herr mit dem Knacker ich befahl, hat wie ein Diamant den Zahn entzwei.
This is surreal.
Es brach, o über deine Wut. Herr dem
Do I just let it keep going?
Gelob und auf den ersten Streich.
I'm gonna let it keep going.
Alle Seiten es zerriss weh Ode an die Wut. Herr mit dem Schwarzbiergebot.
I think we're at the repeat point. Oh, it's still going. What on earth is going on in here? Am I having a bad dream? Ah, no. It's an old German folk song. Rather a fine rendition, I think. Yeah, I figured it was German. That's the least of my concerns. Iris? Iris, what's the matter? Okay.
Herr dem
Who is that sprawling? I mean, that relaxed gentleman over there?
und auf den ersten Streich. Alle Seiten
Hmm.
des Zeris
Iris? Is she even listening?
die Wut.
Excuse me, sir. I do apologize for troubling you while still singing so merrily, but would you be kind enough to explain the situation?
Den Schlund es mir
He's...
verheerend,
Well, that worked.
deine Wut.
A crooning gentleman and a mute young girl? A rather tantalizing juxtaposition. And one that appears to have incited the gods of deduction within me to find their voices too. I knew this was coming. Like, after looking at this, like, we're gonna do a deduction, aren't we? Yup! Oh, Iris did it too. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean? The strains of reasoning within me are playing now as a delightful duet. One melody sings of a reunion full of nostalgia. Whilst the other? A morose theme about the great secret you're trying so desperately to conceal, Iris. She's turned as white as a sheet. So as usual, you've instantly seen to the very heart of the matter. Why has only Iris been good at this, by the way? And by the time my own brief performance is over, I feel sure this gentleman's song will reach its finale. So then, to Musicland, where all is sweetness and delicacy and harmony. Pray do enjoy Herlock Sholmes' latest logic and reasoning spectacular. There we go! The Great Deduction. The game's afoot. I need to look at evidence really quick, because I'm pretty sure that's, you know, pretty sure I know who that is. Man's identity. Conclusion. Firstly, we considered... Oh, hold on a second. Record record. Yeah, is that just the dad? That's gotta be just the dad, right? That's... He got drunk for some weird-ass reason, though? Got the hat, he's got the clothing, like... I think it's just the dad. But okay, let's go. German, oh my god. Oh, by the way, I learned about Japanese and German history. Apparently Japanese and Germans were very cordial with each other, like, in the early 1900s. It was very interesting. Which is partially one of the reasons why they joined up later on. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly he's a German with no grasp of the English language. As evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. Really? So, why is this man here at all, and in such apparently high spirits? Sholmes, please. The answer, of course, Iris is clearly known to you. She's like, no, she does not know what's going on. Like, I do? Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel that particular part of this mystery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating wobbling is revealed by the herbal tea. She's pouting! The reason was why is she pouting? That's the question. Making the pout face! Why is she making the pout face? You obviously offered our German guest a cup of your latest herbal blend. The tea's delectable flavor has made the man's spirits soar, and resulted in this joyful ditty tumbling incessantly from his lips. I eagerly await sampling the flavor myself, that I may join the fellow in his state of elation. Freaking Isaac, Although something's in her mouth, or she's just pouting. Now to the next question. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the city? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. You quite retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived to my office in his mask. The gentleman's name was Wilhelm Kostrich Sigismund von Olmstein. Why do I feel like we heard that name before? The King of Germany. Oh my god! Iris is like, you're kidding me right now. My memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question. That mask belongs to the King of Germany. Look at her! She's like, you gotta be kidding me right now. That mask belongs to the King of Germany. It would appear that His Majesty remembers the fine service I afforded him, and has decided to show his face again, mask and all, in order to express his gratitude. A well-mannered monarch indeed. Wouldn't you agree, my dear fellow? Freaking Iris like, So the identity of this masked visitor is in fact my former client, the King of Germany. Indeed, his son is currently in London as well, enjoying the wonders of the Great Exhibition. Wow. Sure. I want Sholmes to be right one time. We don't have to actually play a game. He just knows it. Like, he got it right. Did she burn her mouth? Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. Your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that knapsack. A £5 note, I believe. I must say, as your compatriot, I am deeply saddened. It would appear that you've allowed yourself to be bribed into silence by His Royal Highness, earning yourself some spending money in exchange for keeping quiet about the King's secret. And now the final piece of the puzzle. What is the secret you strive to hide with your silence, Iris? Ah, yes. We need only follow that brief involuntary twitch of your eyes to find the answer. You are attempting to abscond with the coffee cup. What? My favorite coffee cup, in fact? Or should I say the handle of my favorite coffee cup? It appears that His High-Spirited Highness broke it in the midst of his hijinks. Which leads us to the sad truth. My favorite coffee cup has been broken by the King of Germany, and Iris, you tried to conceal it from me. I shall have a bill sent via governmental channels to the German royal family for its replacement. Alright. You hide the coffee cup. Alright. What is she hiding? I feel like she just burnt her tongue or something. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this painful puzzle.
Mit dem Schwarzbiergebot, brodelnd wie ein Feuerwerk, der mir verbrannt, ach Hopfendein.
With your silence as well, the fellow's jovial wobbling rather rings in the ears, does it not? Mr. Sholmes, I must say something does rather trouble me. Pray, Mrs. Sato, do tell. His Royal Highness doesn't appear to have moved a muscle since we arrived. Oh. And you haven't said a word either, Iris. If Mr. Sholmes has it all right, you might as well own up to it now. Something's broken on the ground. Something's broken on the ground. Your reasoning isn't entirely without substance, I must say, I admit. And one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Yet another grievance, Mrs. Naruto? Surely not. Well, I actually read the story of that case recently, the one you were just describing. And according to that, at least, it wasn't the King of Germany. It was the King of Bohemia. Goodness, was it? Yes, that's quite true. Master Gotz, the prince, testified in that court. That's why the names are familiar. In his words, I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. I would ask you to keep that minor error to yourselves. It could easily become quite a scandal. I believe, Mr. Naruto, that it's our turn now to make some corrections to a number of minor errors that may have slipped in. Yes, even Mr. Sholmes is willing to admit he might be slightly wide of the mark this time. Although it's clear that Iris is definitely hiding something. We need to find out the truth behind this mysterious scene. But one truth is incontrovertible. My favorite coffee cup is no more. So, shall we embark again? On a joint presentation of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular? Alright. Course correction! Hold it, Mr. Sholmes! Mazzardini, the King of Germany. Isn't that just Mikatoba? Alright. Okay, skip that. Skip that. Skip a that. Keep it a skipping. Okay. This part's all still known. The cup. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It's not herbal tea. What's the issue? Is he just drunk? Or is it sleeping tea? So what? It's some mix of herbs that gives you the urge to sing? Goodness, I should like to try some. And I'd like to hear your singing, but this man... Just how long does he intend to keep up with that tune, do you suppose? Seriously, do they not notice the record player? As I said, he's been stock still the entire time, and if you look closely, his lips aren't moving either. Ah! So I'm not sure what's actually responsible for the spirited singing. But I suspect the answer lies at the end of Iris's gaze. Alright, so his dick. Okay, let's see. It's just a gramophone, isn't it? Yeah, it's a gramophone. Take that! Gramophone, yup. Makes sense to me. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the gramophone. Indeed, for no well-bred gentleman would break into an obscure folk song when making a social call. In other words, this gentleman isn't singing at all. In fact, it would appear that the fellow is unconscious. Okay, so now that's done. The music seems to have stopped now. I ask you, Miss Naruto? Yes? Why would I have purchased a recording of that gibberish? How should I know? Well, never mind. On with the deduction. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the city? Okay. Oh, he still says Germany, not Bohemia, right? He could have used that as a cheat. Ormstein. Iris is still like, what the hell, man? Here it comes. We know who that mask belongs to. Although we've already established that it was actually the King of Bohemia, it seems Mr. Sholmes intends to persist with his Germany theory for some reason. Come to think of it, the young prince was wearing a mask as well, wasn't he? Master Gotts, the boy whom you had in tears? Don't remind me, or anyone else. You suppose all members of the aristocracy of mainland Europe wear masks? I'm sure they do. Well, probably anyway. The point is that mask doesn't belong to any king. No, that's right, as we all well know. Because we can identify the true owner of this mask. Yeah, it's called... Hello. It's called, Wait. She's only 9. She was effing 9? She was 9 when Dr. Scythe was doing that case? Was that Dr. Scythe's first case, by the way? Trying to remember. We don't have Scythe things, so I have no idea how old Scythe is. Where is he? There's Kazuma.
Take that!
Kazuma Asogi. Yes, there can be no question. That mask belongs to Kazuma Asogi. In other words, my memory is sublimely unreliable. Only you could try to make that sound positive. Kazuma's mask has been languishing on this metal chest for several days. Though that doesn't explain why the gentleman is wearing it now. But it is now a simple matter to determine our guest's true identity. After all, the gentleman is unconscious. We need only excuse ourselves in advance, gently lift the mask and peer beneath it. Yeah. I don't believe it. Ah. Father! I'm afraid, Mr. Sato, you must be... what? You must be mistaken. No, I think not, Mr. Sholmes. Then it would appear our logic and reasoning has once again revealed the truth. This mysterious visitor is my unconscious father, Yujin Mikotoba. I like that she gets a moment for this, right? Logic and reasoning, or just looking and saying. I like how Naruhodo's just miserable. It's like, oh, guys. Yujin Mikotoba. Now, this is the question. What's going on here? The girl's silent. Skippity skip. Skippity skip, skip, skippity skip, 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 skippity skip, 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 skip. Yeah, what's the reason here? So that's a 5-pound note poking out from Miss Iris's knapsack, is it? Oh dear, I can't be sure. Most money that we encounter is in coin form. I know! I'm not even sure if we've seen any banknotes here in Britain at all, have we? But anyway, Father would never have paid money for Iris's silence. He certainly seems like the silent type himself, but judging by his present state, there must be some other reason for Iris's silence, I suppose. Did she clock him? Perhaps what Iris is trying so hard not to give away with her eyes is something entirely different. You got me right now. I don't know. It's not the knapsack, so... Maybe something that actually is the knapsack. Oh, the chest is open. Alright, let's go with the chest.
Take that!
Yup, there we go. Yes, the reason for your muteness is the chest. Okay. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed. Inside that metal chest. An excellent observation, for upon closer inspection there's something different about the chest's appearance. It's kept locked at all times, yet now the catch is open. Evidently, this has something to do with your refusal to speak, Iris. But it's a simple enough matter to incite you to speak, I'm sure. I merely need to open this chest. Here we go. No! Howie, don't! Oh! Ooh! It was a trap she set up. And it shreked them both! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! Howie! Oh my god. Wow! He's dead. Never! Oh my god. Oh, Howie, I told you not to open it. Oh, so you found your voice now, Iris. Huh. In other words, what just happened clearly reveals the truth here. Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is... This is somewhat different to the usual dance of deduction you perform, Mr. Sholmes, isn't it? Well, he's left me alone on the ballroom floor, so I'm going to have to dance this next part solo. And anyway, I need to get to the bottom of this for my own peace of mind. Now then, Iris isn't usually the silent type, so... You mean you don't actually know the answer yet? Despite that knowing point of the finger before? This is Sato. Sometimes a man needs to point his finger first and think later. Oh, well, if you say so. I think we'd better examine Iris more closely and try to rescue the situation then. Alright, the reasons for the silence. Oh, the key! The key in her hand.
Take that!
Cause she unlocked it? Wasn't the Baskervilles in there? What was in there? Yes, the real reason for her silence until now is that key behind your back. Huh. When Mr. Sholmes was thrown into the air before... Just before you called out to try to stop him, you slipped something out of your mouth. Oh, it was in her mouth! Oh! That something is the key now in your hands. No doubt the key to the chest. Ugh, that probably didn't taste great. You're so clever, Harry. You're so clever, Bono. So now it becomes clear. Thanks to Mr. Sholmes' graphic demonstration, which was amazing, by the way. That was amazing. We can well imagine what happened here. But... Professor Mikitoba also opened that metal chest only to be punched into the air. And land sprawled on the city. But wait, that doesn't explain all the facts. About what the stylish scarf... And what about the stylish scarf and the cup of tea, and above all... Why would he be wearing Kazuma-sama's mask? Well, for those curious details, I can think of only one explanation. Clearly, an unbelievable miracle took place in this room. Isn't that right, Iris? Huh. Consider how the room was arranged before this whole painful experience took place. When Professor Mikitoba opened the chest, completely unaware of what awaited him inside, the mass was flowing into the air just as he was, only to land neatly on his face when it fell back down. And the teacup's journey through the air ended when it caught on the unconscious professor's finger. You mean to say that stylish scarf? Oh, it's the tablecloth. He's actually just a tablecloth. This is the great detective's office, after all, a place of miraculous deductions. That's different. Huh? Nice. Would you expect anything less? Yes, you're right. It happened exactly as you said. Brilliant, Luna. Thus concludes Ryunosuke Naruhodo's great deduction of this punchy puzzle. Wow. Okay, well that was ridiculous. So Dan, why don't I make a fresh pot of tea for us all? Here we go. He objected? He objected? That's his voice, by the way. An admirable performance, Mr. Naruhodo. But in the final act of the show there, you rather missed everything of importance. Mr. Sholmes! If you would cast your mind back to my earlier deduction. Iris, clearly you're hiding a great secret. Huh? She is? And the look on her face. Mr. Sholmes must be right. Whatever that great secret is, the cat isn't out of the bag yet. So I put it to you again. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. It really is a shame about Mr. Sholmes' cup. It must have been smashed when Professor Mikitoba opened the chest. dear, so many things seem to have been broken here. But now that the deduction has taken a different direction, Iris doesn't seem to be trying to hide the broken cup anymore. In other words, her great secret is something else. Let's put our observational skills to work on one final time here, then. Is it the note? Oh, what is that? Case file. It's the one Sholmes hid away, isn't it? Wow, alright. You were attempting to abscond with that case file. Iris, as you know very well, nothing escapes the attention of a great detective. Oh no! We visited Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory earlier today, and Dr. Gorey informed us that the autopsy report of Clint von Zeeks had gone missing. Clint von Zeeks? Yes, I do seem to recall. Some years ago I asked to see the report in question. You were with me, weren't you, Iris? You mean, it was you, Iris? So those papers you have there are... I'm sorry. Forgive me. Oh my god. Oh no, a crying child. To hide the case file. Alright, she's grounded. What was she doing? What was she doing? Deduction complete. Elementary. Nice surprise there, right? Pretty good surprise. Absconded, by the way. That's such a word. In truth, I would like to have thought I could have predicted the booby-trapped chest. But it caught me completely off guard. I was very nearly the late consulting detective Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I'm sorry, Howie. So you mean this autopsy report really is... Yes, I took it from the lab, even though I knew it was very important. Was there something in it that troubled you, Iris? Not exactly something that troubled me. Something I'd been working for. When I saw this report, when I saw the writing in it, I knew it was Daddy's. The writing? Yeah, John H. Wilson. Your father's writing? What do you mean? What do you really mean? Iris? It must be something that's hard for her to talk about. Forgive me for interrupting, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes, what is it? I feel as though the poor unconscious gentleman on the city has been somewhat forgotten. Oh my god, yeah. Ah, father, right? But it's kind of important, though, this conversation. Perhaps we should find our guest somewhere more peaceful to rest? Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? Would you be so kind as to lend him your bed? We must do our very best to make him comfortable, I feel. Oh, yes, of course. Oh, we'll help you carry him. Ah, so will I. No, I can manage alone, thank you. You'll have tea to enjoy. We wouldn't want Iris's brew to stew. Okay. Because there's no better way to make the professor comfortable than dragging him upstairs like a trunk. I wonder, perhaps that was deliberate. Maybe Mr. Sholmes is making himself scarce to give Iris the chance to talk more freely. We must use this opportunity to talk with Iris. And find out what's going on. Converse. Your daddy. Who's your daddy and what does he do? Would you like to tell us about it, Iris? About your father? I'm sure I told you before, didn't I? That Daddy used to be Howie's partner? Yes, and that notes about all the cases they solved together are kept inside that metal chest. That's right. Howie told me, you see. He said that Daddy's somewhere far away now, so we can't meet. That's one way of describing it. Then when I secretly unlocked the chest and read through the papers inside, I started to build up a picture in my head of what Daddy must be like. Huh. Well, that's only natural. You're just like any other girl of your age. I read that Daddy was a professor of medical science, so I studied and took my degree, too. Well, that's only natural, I suppose. In that respect, you're not quite like any other girl of your age, though. But there was one thing that I could never find out. Daddy's name. Huh? What? His name wasn't anywhere on any of the notes that I'd made about his work with Howie. But then one day... That's what happened, is it? When you saw this autopsy report, you finally managed to work it out? Is that right? Yes. So it was the handwriting in the report that caught her eye. I don't understand at all. Autopsy report. When I saw the writing on that report, I could hardly believe it. I know that handwriting, I thought to myself. Oh, because it was the same as the writing you'd seen on your father's case notes. Exactly. I was desperate to compare the two properly. I needed to see them side by side. I asked the doctor in the laboratory, but I was told I couldn't take the report away. And even worse, I was told that it was the first and last time we'd be allowed even to look at it there. So you decided to steal it? When I compared the autopsy report with the case notes I have here, there was no doubt. The handwriting was exactly the same. It was Daddy's. And the signature of the coroner at the bottom of the autopsy report read Dr. John H. Wilson. But that's how I finally found out. I want Daddy's name at last. I see. Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson. Huh, real quick. How old is Iris? 10. So what, she was a 1-year-old girl? She was a 1-year-old? Jesus Christ, Iris. Am I nuts, or was the case 10 years ago? Like, where's Cosmo? Where's Cosmo? Cosmo was 14? It was 10 years ago, right? Like, he got fired 10 years ago. Was it 7 years ago? It had to be 7 years. It can't be 10 years ago. Was it 7 years ago? Ah, God, I don't remember when the time was now. I don't remember. Fudge me. Alright. I don't remember the timeline all of a sudden here. Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson. And that's also when I had the brilliant idea of writing stories all about Daddy's exciting times with Howie. I decided there and then that I'd write the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, Iris. I had no idea that stories had quite such a deep personal significance for you. I can see why the autopsy report was so important to her now. And why she was prepared to break the law to get her hands on it. I must apologize, Iris. Huh? Was it Mikatoba or was it? Yeah, it was him. Okay, it was Shums. This is really all my fault. Howie? I made a promise, you see, that until the time was right, I'd keep that details about your father a secret. I know. I've been very naughty. I'll take the autopsy report back to Dr. Gore and apologize, I promise. Yes, we'll go together, I think. Then, let me look after it for you until we get there. Lynn's autopsy report has been no, take a look right now! Take a look immediately! Take a look, take a look. Nothing else matters, take a look. Name, Clint Von Zeeks, male, 33, British. I thought they were German. British, okay. 31st of May, between 9 p.m. and midnight. Coroner John H. Wilson. Observations, death from a single stab wound to the heart. Other superficial external wounds indicative of a duel. Oh! Additional notes. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no documents in corresponding ink was found. Autopsy findings. Vital evidence recovered from the victim's stomach during autopsy. Credit to Inspector Gregson for petitioning so doggedly for the autopsy procedure. No internal trauma noted anywhere in the body. John H. Wilson, 33. So, vital evidence recovered from the victim's stomach. Alright. How long ago was the Sogi papers? The only thing I'm trying to piece here is I don't remember how long ago this was. Yeah, there's no date on anything. Here's the picture. I'm really curious if the actual killer was freaking Clint and then he got killed by Asogi, by Genshin Asogi. Really curious if they just hid the fact that a noble was the killer or something like that. And then he was going to try to just break out because they got their fake killer and then he got killed anyway. I don't know. I don't know. I must go and buy my herbs, I think. I see you all later. Okay. Poor Iris. She must be feeling awful. I know Mr. Sholmes is here for her, but still. Huh? What? How? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? Oh dear me. So, you've noticed, I see. But that would mean... What on earth's the matter, Mrs. Sato? You've turned as white as a sheet. Everyone's turning white as a sheet. It's this autopsy report, Mr. Naruhodo. The one from 10 years ago. The writing isn't Dr. Wilson's at all. What? Huh? What do you mean? Is it her father's? How could you possibly know that? Because I know this writing very well. This writing, it's my father's. There it is. There it is. So the signature is Wilson's, but the writing is her father's. What? Professor Mikatoba's? Indeed, it's true. And now you know, my dear fellows. No, I don't know anything. What on earth does all this mean, Mr. Sholmes? Because the idea that's slowly forming in my mind, it's just too extraordinary to believe. So they had Mikatoba do it. They had Mikatoba do the autopsy. Because he was really good at that stuff, I guess, and they just hid it was Wilson who did it? I don't know. Please, you have to explain. Yeah, please do. What the balls? The autopsy report writing. So, this autopsy report was actually penned by Professor Mikotoba, then? But that makes no sense! It's not possible, surely? Not possible, my dear fellow. Pray take a deep breath and think again. Yes, you're right. In some ways, it actually makes a great deal of sense. It does? 10 years ago? Yeah, it was 10 years, okay. 10 years ago? So Iris was like 1 when she took that? Alright. 10 years ago is when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain. And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikotoba engaged? Ah, of course. He was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory, learning about forensic science. And as an assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed notes, which would be assembled into the full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the contents and put a signature on the document. In other words, the only writings of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature at the end. I see. So Iris got the wrong end of the stick, you mean? She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson. Which is very understandable, of course. What a complicated situation! Details have been added because Mikotoba was the one who actually penned it, so now we're going to Mikotoba as a witness later. Your partner. Thinking about it, most of what we know about you, Mr. Sholmes, comes from the published stories of your exploits. Yes, the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, written by Iris. And we really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction. Most troubling for you, my dear fellow, I'm sure. So what about this supposed partner of yours? Did he really exist or not? Ah, you've come straight to the point, I see. And please come straight to the answer. I believe Iris has explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade and the only person I could truly have called a friend. And did this partner of yours truly make a record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside that metal chest? Absolutely, my dear madam, absolutely. So, where is your partner now? We rarely meet. You see, he lives on the other side of the world. Huh? Yeah, okay. But if this autopsy report and the records of all your old cases were penned by the same hand, and if the autopsy report was written, though not signed by your famous partner, there would be only one logical conclusion. Pray impress me. Your partner would have to be Eugen Mikotoba. In other words, Mrs. Sato's father. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? You are coming along wonderfully. You have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasped the art of deduction. You mean to say... Allow me to introduce you to my great friend and partner, Mikotoba. What? Professor Mikotoba! Just standing there the whole time, waiting to say things. He's like, hey, I've been here the whole time. How's it going? Sholmes and Mikotoba. Okay. This episode's going long, but it has to keep going. Are you kidding me? Go! Does this mean that you're real? That you're the real Dr. Wilson? No, my dear. I'm still my old self, Eugen Mikotoba, your father. Oh, of course. This is obviously too much for Sasada-san to take in. I must say, though, How my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. I still remember the first time we met. Pray remind me, when was it again, Mikatoba? 16 years ago, Sholmes. Ah yes, quite, 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Shishiro and Genshin. I was in search of lodgings close to the hospital. Some comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. But rents are devilishly high in that particular area. That's right, so I decided I needed someone to share lodgings and the expense. And was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sholmes, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of the great detective you see before you now. I was working at the hospital's chemical laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for little gain. And the situation of our cohabitation led to us pursuing cases together, you see. Hard to believe it was a mere 6 years. We had a great many adventures. But in the last year of Mikatoba's stay in Britain, the most infamous of cases presented itself. The case with which you've become rather familiar yourselves. The Professor killings. After the trial, Seshiro and I were summoned back home. Hardly surprising given the circumstances. So there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest. This is just amazing! Professor Mikatoba really is Mr. Sholmes' famous partner. There is an issue, though. Father? Goodness, my dear. What a cutting look. As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you were the great detective's great partner. But nevertheless, there's another mystery that I really must ask you to explain now. and that is... You know very well what it is. The unresolved matter of Iris's father. Ah, of course! I'd almost forgotten about that one. I should have seen this coming, I suppose. Yeah. Either this man cheated on his wife, or Iris is an orphan, or Sholmes just doesn't want to tell that he's her father. Iris's father. Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest were written by her father. Isn't that correct, Mr. Sholmes? That is indeed what I told young Iris. There it is, he lied to her. But if you're Mr. Sholmes' partner, father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris's father must be you. Ah! Upon my word, Mr. Sato. You are coming along wonderfully as well. You too have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasped the art of deduction. Whoa! What you've always told me, father, is that my mother died when I was born 16 years ago. Oh, okay, so he's not cheating. He just maybe found someone else. And you left me in grandmother's care whilst you embarked on your study tour of Britain. And I've always accepted that. But all this about Iris. Oh, there it is! Sasato-san's ice-cold stare. No, now hold on a minute. It is very complicated. I mean, it's really not what you think. Then perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is. Oh god, she's going for it. There it is! Now the eyes go from ice cold to red hot, just before she... No, really, you've got the wrong end of the stick! Show him, say something, man! Get tossed, get tossed, get tossed, get tossed! He just leaves. That's quite enough, my fiery fellows. Mr. Sholmes, when did he get all dressed up? Boss, I don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past. Mikitoba and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion. But it's very late, Mr. Sholmes. Where must you go? Why, my dear madam, is that not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So get your coat, Mikitoba. The game is afoot. But Sholmes, I really must give Sasato a full explanation, I think. Doesn't that music kick in? It's different now. Later, my dear fellow, later. Our carriage awaits downstairs already. You haven't changed one iota, have you? I mean, really, I visit our home after 10 long years. And when I open that chest in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably pass out. And as if that wasn't enough, when I eventually regain consciousness, I'm plunged straight into all of this. Father, please. Go with Mr. Sholmes now. What? I've no doubt that whatever happened, you were acting in everyone's best interests. I trust you, completely. Sasato. And sending the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together is more than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams. Very well then. We'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day? I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. Yes, Naruhodo. Good luck in battle. And in reaching a decision. A decision? Well, what, they go back to Japan, I suppose.
So much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself. It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth. And that all the turmoil was necessary.
I feel like I don't need to click through these, I should just be out of playing this.
To give me the resolve to see everything through.
Well, that was a hell of an hour. Holy balls. End. What do you mean, end? Isn't it usually just to be continued? The legendary pair. Wait, what? Save for progress. This is the final case! The resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is the first time one case has been 2 episodes. That's different. Ah. Yeah, it feels like this case is too important. Like, what are we gonna do after this case? Like, oh, it's the final case. Forget what I said. Okay. Oh, my balls. Oh, my balls. All right. That's it for now. I have fun. Hope you're watching. That's what's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. This is going so much better than the last run of the first half of this game. Like, that final case was just such a mess. And I'm hoping it doesn't be like that, but this has been a really interesting run right here. So we'll see, but that's it for now. I did the outro already, right? See ya!